working with analytics. In the previous module, we looked at business analytics in detail and understood the business analytics model. We also applied our learning to the workings of a TV broadcasting company. In this module, we're going to be taking a little more of a hands-on approach with analytics. We'll understand the different types of analytics, the common terminology used, the analytics methodology, and the different predictive modeling techniques. Different branches of analytics. Analytics can be divided into branches depending on how you decide to classify it. You could either categorize it depending on where the analytics is being used. For example, it could be used in pricing, in HR, to assess risk, or in marketing, and the list is endless. But if you're thinking that this could indeed be a never-ending list, and hence not really a great way to classify analytics, you're absolutely right. This is called domain analytics. The other way of doing it is on the basis of what it allows us to do. Let's take a particular situation involving data and see if we can come up with the types of analytics it allows us to do on it. Let's go to the supermarket to do our weekly grocery run. We would possibly put in our basket a loaf of bread, milk, cheese or yogurt, bananas, cereal, and a few other special items for the week, maybe replenishing our supply of spices or lentils. There are those items that we take every week without fail, because those are the staples of our grocery basket. So if we were to create a report on the contents of our grocery basket over the past few months, there would be information on the number of liters of milk we bought, how many bananas we ate, and how often we bought spices. This is interesting information to a retailer because it's data about his store and his supplies. This helps the retailer understand the why behind the buy. This is descriptive analytics. All the information coming from the data is coming from our basket. All we're doing is slicing and dicing the data in different ways, maybe looking at it from different angles or along different dimensions. How often did we buy spices? Did we only buy milk when we also bought cereal? Did we buy any other fruits when we bought bananas? So as you can see, descriptive analytics is possibly the simplest type of analytics to perform because it uses existing information from the past to understand decisions in the present and hopefully help decide on an effective course of action in the future. However, because of its relative ease of understanding and application, descriptive analysis has often been labeled the unglamorous twin of analytics. But it's also extremely powerful in its potential, and in most business situations, descriptive analytics can help address most problems. But continuing from our grocery example, so our local grocer sees that most people who buy cereal also buy bananas. So he places a smaller banana basket right next to the cereal shelf, since he predicts that most people will pick them both up. This is predictive analytics. You can actually see this in most of the big supermarket chains all over the world. Retailers are very interested in understanding relationships between products. They want to know if a person buys product A, is he also likely to buy product B or product C? This is called product affinity analysis or association analysis and is commonly used in the retail industry. It's also called market basket analysis and is used to refer to a set of techniques that can be applied to analyze a shopping basket or a transaction. Have you ever wondered why milk is placed right at the back of the store, while magazines and chewing gum are right by the checkout? That's because, through analytics, retailers realize that while traveling all the way to the back of the store to pick up your essentials, you just might be tempted to pick up something else. And also because magazines and chewing gum are cheap impulse buys. You decide to throw them in your cart since they're not too expensive, and you've probably been eyeing them as you waited in line at the counter. Predictive analytics works by identifying patterns in historical data and then using statistics to make inferences about the future. At a very simplistic level, we try to fit the data into a certain pattern, and we believe if the data is following a certain pattern, then we can predict what will happen in the future. Let's try and look at another example involving predictive analytics in the telecom industry. A large telecom company has access to all kinds of information about its customers' calling habits. How much time do they spend on the phone? How many international calls do they make? Do they prefer to SMS or call numbers outside their city? But this is information one can obtain purely by observation or by descriptive analytics. But such companies would more importantly like to know which of their customers plan to leave and take up a new connection with their competitors. This will use historical information, but rely on predictive modeling and analysis to obtain results. This is predictive analytics. While descriptive analytics is a very powerful tool, it still gives us information only about the past. Whereas in reality, most users' primary concern will always be the future. A hotel owner would want to predict how many of his rooms will be occupied next week. The CEO of a pharma company will want to know which of his under-test drugs is most likely to succeed. This is where predictive analytics is a lot more useful. In addition to these two, there is a third type of analytics which came into existence very recently, maybe just a decade old. This is prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics goes beyond predictive analytics by not only telling you what's going on, but also what might happen and most importantly, what to do about it. It could also inform you about the impact of these decisions, which is what makes prescriptive analytics so cutting edge. Business domains that are great examples where prescriptive analytics can be used are the aviation industry or nationwide road networks. Prescriptive analytics can predict and effectively correct road bottlenecks or identify roads where tolls can be implemented to streamline traffic. To see how prescriptive analytics functions in the aviation industry, let's look at the following example. Airlines are always looking for ways to optimize their routes for maximum efficiency. This can be billions of dollars in potential savings. But this isn't that easy to do. With over 50 million commercial flights in the world every year, there's a flight every second. Just a simple flight route between two cities, let's say San Francisco to Boston, has a possible 2,000 route options. So the aviation industry often relies on prescriptive analytics to decide which, what, and how they should fly their airlines to keep costs down and profits up. So we've taken a fairly in-depth look at descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Later on in this module, we'll also spend some time understanding some of the more popular predictive modeling techniques.